Welcome to the Abyss. I am the Abyssal Drink, and as the title suggests, I had an idea for a Path of Exile League mechanic that I just wanted to put out there. The League name would be Rival, and the mechanic would be a boss fighting one. No map density or teleportation to alternate zones. The whole concept is fighting a single boss. I'd like to give the base mechanic some flavor, so skip to this time on screen if you just want the mechanic itself. Entering the coast, you'll find along the way a substantial portion of the map covered in a black and white sludge, void of mobs save for a single creature. The creature looks like a frail human and doesn't go after you. It watches you and whispers to itself. It waits for you to engage it, and then a battle ensues. It feels like a mini-boss, not being too difficult for a level 2 to handle. When you best it, the creature sinks back into the ground with the sludge following it. The items it drops are slightly above par for the zone, but the best part is the burst of experience you gain. Upon going to the next zone, you find that the creature is slightly different, looking stronger and more confident, but it still waits for you to engage. Again, it is surrounded by the sludge with no mobs, but perhaps you've noticed that any mobs chasing after you into the arena die without granting XP, and their essence is dragged into the creature. When you fight it, the battle is tougher, and a new mechanic appears. This continues on through each zone as the creature becomes more disturbing to look at, and it performs stronger attacks. Eventually, it drops tattered cloths of despair that, when fully stacked, become a key to the darkness. No need for a map device to use, but the device will be activated if you have it. You enter a void and see the creature once again before you, but its form seems complete. It begins to speak to you in a manner similar to the Maven. "Feed me," it says. "Sustenance." A pedestal awaits you to be activated, with slots for items. If you're still in the axe, you won't have anything, but you can still fight the creature. Before the first fight in its realm, it announces its name, Gloomfallen. You battle it out with 6 attempts as normal if you aren't on hardcore, and upon defeating it you get a very large burst of experience and items of higher level than you're used to. Gloomfallen shrieks back down to its first form and states, "Need more power. Find it, please." And so, you must seek to find it more power. Once you reach the Atlas and run a map, Gloomfallen states, "This, feed me this great power." Obtaining another key to the darkness and returning to the void, Gloomfallen will say, "Map, feed me." Placing a map onto the pedestal and activating it causes Gloomfallen to surge with power as it attacks you more ferociously than before. And is it using your abilities against you? Managing to defeat it, a well of loot springs forth, but not just regular items. Even past League items emerge as well. "Give me more," it says. "Give more." So here's the mechanic in full. In set locations in the zone, the boss, named Gloomfallen if you skipped ahead, will appear and absorb the mobs in an area to gain XP and level up. Magic, rare, and non-quest related uniques granting the most respectively. The location won't be near any important mobs, and other League mechanics are placed away from it save for Delirium since that's map-wide. The fight won't begin until you start it, so you don't have to be afraid of running through if you don't feel strong enough to fight it. You can bring other mobs into the area to boost it up. Gloomfallen's loot table is based on the mobs it absorbs as well as the XP it grants. The XP is on the order of 2 to 3 times the amount, but it's just a theoretical number. Gloomfallen always starts at level 1 before the absorption. Its skill set increases the higher level it becomes, so it will gain new abilities as you progress through the axe and even maps. The League specific loot will be like your breach splinters and timeless emblems. Collect a certain amount and you gain a key to an arena where you fight the strongest version of Gloomfallen, which is probably as tough as an Act 10 boss. Of course, though, you'll need a way to juice it up. The arena will have a pedestal with 4 slots. You can place maps and scarabs into it and grant a huge boost to Gloomfallen. Map rarity and tier do take effect. All the mobs and bosses will be absorbed, as well as league mobs that aren't associated with a master like Einar, so your Atlas talent tree does have an effect. Should you win, you gain loot relevant to the map and any league mechanic within it. This does include scarabs, which could be placed in by themselves without a map if you just want a surge of loot from particular leagues. Of course, the fight won't be easy and can become ridiculous. Juicing via maps causes Gloomfallen to use a version of your own abilities against you, as well as other crazy mechanics from the juice provided. No modifiers, just abilities. You can easily bring this up to uber levels of difficulty by inserting 4 corrupted rare tier 16 maps with influences on them, or do something like a tier 16 as mentioned with a Ravaged Blight map, a tier 16 Delirious map, and a Scarab of choice. The fights inside the maps will pale in comparison to the fight in Gloomfallen's arena, and you could find yourself gaining an entire level should you defeat him, so this would be a very rewarding mechanic, and the mountain of loot should be fun to sift through. Don't worry about inventory, as a stash box will be provided by Gloomfallen as his thanks. So that's the idea of Rival. I think it would be a really cool boss mechanic that isn't just a make your own boss fight. You set the difficulty to extreme heights or mild lows, and with enough mapping you should be able to do the mechanic often. If you watched this whole video, thanks, and even if you just skipped ahead, thanks as well. Let me know what you think. I love commenting.